to the game.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today on this Let's Paint, we're going to do the Masked Mayhem from Rumbleslam. Masked Mayhem, it's just one of the newer factions that came out, and I think I picked this one up at Gen Con, so it's been a while. And we're going to just pick one of the models, and we're going to paint him up. Now, we paint to a tabletop standard. It's good for beginners, and that's basically what I'm going for here. 3-foot effect. If it looks good from 3 feet, it's good enough for the tabletop. Not trying to win any awards, so I'm not going to kid you. He was base coated with Army Painter's Barbarian Flesh, because it's mostly skin. And our first color here is going to be white. This is Vallejo's Dead White, just because it's an airbrush paint that's already thinned out. You can use any white. And we're going to paint basically his shorts, wristbands, armbands, his cap. These guys are kind of clowns that come straight out of Carnivale. If you've played Carnivale, they kind of tie in with that. I got a chance to demo Carnivale at Gen Con. It's really cool. One of these days I will actually pick up the starter set. But let's get started. So again, we're just going to paint the shorts white. And it's just, if you've never painted before, or if you're relatively new to it, let's just take your time and be careful. I mean, we're not going for a master quality here. We're just trying to put some color on them so they look decent. Like I said, tabletop quality is all we're going for. So I'm just using a small brush. The brush is a layer brush from Citadel, I believe. And it's just, be very careful, take your time, make sure your paints are thinned down. Don't try thick paints. It doesn't work really well. You're going to do a couple of thin coats if you need to get the extra coverage. But, just take your time until you get the hang of it, and then you'll go a lot faster. When we switch over to the contrast paints here in a little bit, this will you'll see a big difference in the speed. This is just a regular paint versus a contrast paint. Okay, so with the white done, next one we're going to do is our Blood Angel's red, and this is for the cuff around his neck. Yes, I know I did forget to do the armbands and the wrist. I'll get those in his head cap. I did forget to get those, but we'll do the red while we're here, and then we'll go back and get the white done. Now this is a contrast paint, and it's a really good one. Contrast paints will both shade and paint all at the same time, so you can do it all in one coat, which is really handy, especially if you're just trying to get color on them and trying to get them done quickly. Just very carefully, we'll get that onto that ruffle around his neck. And again, if you make any errors, you get a little bit, we'll let it dry, and then we'll go back in with Barbarian Flesh, cover it up before we do our washes towards the end. So I'm going to go ahead and finish the cuff up with the red, and we'll come back and go to the next step. Okay, going back to touch up the white that I did miss. His armbands, his wristbands, and his cap. Sped this up so you... no, I'm not really painting that fast. Okay, now that the white's all complete now, Snakebite Leather Contrast Paint. This is going to be for the boots. Contrast paints, I can't tell you, they're wonderful. I can't knock them. They're really good. I love them. I have gotten more stuff painted in the last year since the contrast paints came out than I probably have in the 2 years prior combined. They just make it so easy. So again, highly recommend the contrast paints. Um, they're not super cheap, but they are really good if you're trying to paint stuff up. So between contrast paints and Vallejo's army paint or army painter and a few Vallejo paints I have, pick the colors you like. These guys I just followed the box art. But again, just put that all over the boots. Be very careful around the ankle, and just kind of put it on. You put the contrast paints on a little heavy, and just kind of let it run down into all the recesses. And when it's done, it looks really, really good. It's amazing how good these look. The contrast paints do. Again, it's tabletop quality, guys. We're not going for awards here. We're going for tabletop. I'm going to keep saying it. Okay, Black Templar contrast. It's a black paint, and we're going to use this for the mask. The mask is molded onto them, so it's not like you're freehanding it. You can actually see where it's going to need to go. For this one, I switched over to a very fine brush. And this is probably going to take 2 coats because, again, it's a contrast paint. They're thin. They're made to go over like a lighter paint color, but I really want this to be black, so I'm going to put it on a little heavy around his eyes. Okay, contrast apothecary white. This I'm actually using as a wash for the white. It's kind of a very light gray, but once it dries on, it kind of gives the white the shadows that you would expect to see on white cloth. And there it is. Works really great. Looks really good on white. I will just cover all of the white with it. Not too heavy. You don't want to let it pool too much, but just get it on there. And our last color is Flesh Wash. Army Painter puts this out, but it's a light brown, perfect for the flesh. And you just cover all the flesh with it. I put it on a little heavy, just so it sits in the recesses real well. And it's the last color we're going to need. And then these guys are going to be tabletop ready. We can paint all 5 of the models in the same pattern, and you can get it done very quickly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish this up. We'll let it dry, and then we'll take a look at what the final model looks like. All right, and here you go. He's done, he's dried, and he's based. Again, it's pretty darn good for a quick paint job. Tabletop standard. Here's the 2 little ones that I've already done, basically just to work on the paint scheme, make sure I had it down. But they're all painted the same way. Super quick, super easy. I want to say, all in all, with stoppages for drying time, the whole model probably took an hour. If you were to do all 5 of them at the same time, which I'm recording these since I'm not doing them all at the same time, you could get them well done in an afternoon. So there you go. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Hope you learned something. Hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Thanks for watching. Bye.